publicity to the dude. I mean, he get enough of that already. I think you do have to blame some of the media for blowing the dude's head up, and he just feel like his shit don't stink and all this. And it's just like, I think a lot of what you see is frustration. I think he knows he ain't been the champ for a while, and he didn't know what else to do. He acting like a child. It's retarded. I mean, you know, I ain't gonna get that cokehead too much press. So,
with the whole main event that ended up happening between Iaquinta and Khabib, what did you make of the outcome, and what do you think of Khabib having the belt now?
You had so many people that was like shocked to see holes in Khabib's game. I've been calling out Khabib for 2-3 years now. I've been seeing them holes. I said that Iaquinta was going to show him. The man just didn't stand much of a chance. You know, he had too much going against him. Me and Iaquinta, we got our little back and forth. So I don't really like him personally too much, but I mean, the man can fight. But when you're showing up for a 3-round fight against a Muay Thai fighter, how much wrestling did he do? You know, the man was selling homes for like a year and a half. He wasn't even a pro fighter. Had a busted knee, all this, and still showed holes in the man's game. So I want that Khabib fight. I've been calling for it for a long time. I feel like I'm going to get a better version of Edson Barboza that fought Khabib a couple months ago. I'm going to whoop this boy even worse than Khabib did. And then from there, we can make a fight happen.
Do you think, where in the fight do you think he could have finished the fight?
I mean, the dude, all he got is a low single. You need more than a low single to scare somebody like me. He's got a low single, he hits you a little bit and then begs you to give up. And most of the guys that go against him, I mean, even Iaquinta, the only reason I think they didn't offer me that fight is because they knew hands down, I would have, before they even said it, yes, I'm on my way. I weighed lower than Max did when they offered Max the fight. I think that would have been the fight to make, but you know, it's all in good time. Iaquinta, he said a couple weeks ago that he didn't want to fight Khabib, and it showed during the fight. He didn't show up to fight. He didn't show up to win. He just showed up to get his paycheck and not get his ass whooped.
Now there is a rumor that you were also offered the fight, but you're saying you weren't offered the fight.
No, they didn't call me. By the time I heard about it, Max had already accepted. Which I give all the credit in the world to Max. You know, me and Max cut from the same cloth. Max is one of the few guys outside of here that I really consider like a friend. Just because we cut from the same cloth and real recognize real. And if I was in his shoes, I would have did the same thing.
Did you think when Khabib had chosen to kind of stand up, were you a little surprised that he didn't just do like what he's done before and just constantly go for the grind and take him down? And did you think his stand-up was lacking quite a bit?
Yeah, I mean, anybody with 2 eyes can see is lacking, and it's been that way. Whether he chose to or not wasn't really. I don't think he really chose to. I think, you know, that little punk ass low single wasn't working very long. You know, he was trying to the same takedown over and over again. The man just don't have a lot of variety in his game. He's the same man that beat Dos Anjos a couple years ago. He's that exact same fighter. And I think once you stop evolving in this game, then guys like me are gonna catch up to you. And I think once I get my hands on them, then that's really gonna show. But there was a little bit of frustration watching that fight, just because I want to be the one to expose those holes, and I want to be the one to give him that one on his record. But as soon as that fight's over, I get back on what I gotta do, and that's going out there and whooping on Edson.
Do you look at the fight that Conor had with him? Of course, styles make fight, but when you look at when Khabib, fought Edson, is that a game plan that you see already laid out, that's what you looked for, Edson, or would you rather test yourself, stay on the feet, see if the striking's where it's at? Because most people assume it's going to be a nice striking battle, but a lot of people say, I don't want to stand up and take those strikes. I don't want to take those leg kicks. But did he lay out a groundwork for you to take in that fight?
I said before I even got into the sport, I'm going to be the most well-rounded fighter that there is. Edson's hands down the best striker at lightweight. The only other guy you can put up there is Anthony, and he beat Anthony Pettis. So once I beat him, I'm going to show that I'm better all around. And that's going to show during the fight. Wherever the fight goes is where I'll take it. Yeah, I'm a great wrestler. I can submit guys. I can take them down. I can ground and pound. I can do all that. But I can do everything. And I think that's really going to show during the fight. And it's going to surprise a lot of people.
And you see this fight, especially with a nice loss. This is the title contender fight. You see that the winner of this fight should get the next shot at the belt?
Yeah, hands down. And that's why I wanted it too. I didn't want an easy fight. I didn't want to come back and just kind of touch my toe in the water and just dip it in. I want to go right back in. 5-round fight. against one of the toughest dudes in the division, and I think we gonna put on a show. I'm ready for it. You see me, I'm in my bag this time. I'm not. All that I've been doing is just geared towards the fight. I show up in sweatpants and tennis shoes everywhere I go these days. I'm in my bag. I'm ready to fight. So
if this is the contender fight, the championship fight's not going to happen probably till the end of the year. Are you willing to wait possibly into next year?
You know me. You know, the folks know me. I like to stay active. I like to keep going. I've got a lot of fights in the division. And even now, like I said, I wanted to come back in July, but I just get that itch. Like, this is what I love to do. So we'll see how the whole thing shakes up. They giving out all these little fake belts, and you know, Khabib's running around here with a belt. They're going to have Khabib and Conor fighting for the belt, and neither one are the top guys. I think Tony Ferguson is still the #1 guy. That's the guy I'm chasing. If I got to go through one of those #1 contenders to get it done, then I'll do that. But we'll see how the whole thing, we'll see how this whole thing shake out.
What do you make of that situation? I mean, Ferguson's hurt, so he was in a ring, but then the belt's gone, he's taken from him, and Conor obviously stripped, and then now you have Khabib, so like you said, it's kind of like a circus of interim belts. What do you make of that situation and how it's formed?
It's confusing, it's confusing. I take full responsibility for it. I apologize to Dana personally, myself. If I would have showed up healthy versus Tony Ferguson last October, we wouldn't have had none of the bullshit that went down last week. So I take full responsibility for it, and I'll right the wrongs in the next year or so.
Edson at the press conference said he had learned a lot of lessons from that last fight, but do you see him as coming in maybe in this short time having his game evolved so much that's not an issue for him anymore, or do you expect to see the same Edson coming into this fight?
I think I'm gonna get the best Edson. I think Edson in that fight with Khabib was broken already before he got in there. You could see it in his face, you could see it in his body, and I'm expecting the best version. Just because every time that the man has lost, he never lost 2 in a row. Every time he's lost, he came back better, and he's got that fighter heart. So I'm expecting the best Edson, and that's what I'm preparing for. I'm down to the wire now. Today will be my last sparring day. I've had a great training camp, great training partners. Me and Yair Rodriguez are about to go spin and kick each other in the head and shit. So we about to have some fun, and then I'm gonna have some fun again on April 21st.
How much have you worked with Yair?
He's been out here for almost 2 months now. He's just another one of those guys that it's a lot of guys that I bring in that are really great at what they do that not a lot of people know. But somebody like Yair that people know, he just adds that little extra to the game. So it's gonna show. It's gonna show.
Have you brought in other training partners that stylistically kind of match it in that way, like aside from your?
Yeah, I've got 2 other kickboxers that are coming in today. WBC champs. A lot of Muay Thai champs. I think I've worked with 3 Muay Thai champs this camp. Guys like Anthony Ninjagawani, his brother Chidi Ninjagawani. Yeah, I mean a lot of guys that are very high level kickboxers that can kick like a motherfucker. So my body's ready. I'm kicking them right back just as hard too.
Going back to the incident in New York, a former opponent, Michael Chiesa, was forced to lose his fight. I don't know if you had any thoughts of that. Did you maybe try to reach out and say, sorry for your loss or anything? I mean, what were your thoughts on the fact that fighters had to lose their fights due to the actions of another?
Man, I feel bad for the dude. I really do. Like I said, I wish it had been me on that bus. We'd have caused a riot in that bitch. There ain't no way they would have held me on that bus. I feel bad for a guy like Mike. Mike don't want to hurt a fly. He should stop showing up for media stuff. He just keep getting hit in the head. I mean, I don't know. If I was the UFC, I'd just stop scheduling a dude to do media. I don't know. It ain't working out too good for him.
Well, I guess on one final last thing for that on me, I know we always we keep talking about what Conor did. Do you feel that Khabib played a role in that as well? That he has something to blame with the whole team gathering around Artem, and it feels like that's what Conor said he came back to defend his teammate. Do you feel that there was some part of him that causes?
Nah, man, that's just the game, that's just the fight game. And even what Khabib did, I didn't think was disrespectful. I didn't see nothing out of line. And if it was out of line, that's not the way to go about it. I think Conor, he want to be this gangster and he want to be this thug, but he ain't really from there. If it's me, like I got into this game to get away from that, to get away from having to do shit like that. It seems like he is trying to get there, and then he's going back to where I came from, and it's backwards to me. It don't really make sense. And you can tell that the man don't know what he's doing, because when you got that type of money, you ain't supposed to throw shit. You know, he's supposed to be out somewhere in holding up a newspaper in front of cameras. So I ain't nowhere near the scene, but somebody will get touched. And I mean, well, that whole situation is just it's laughable. It's laughable to somebody like me, and I hate giving him press, really.
I know you don't want to give press. This is something that you just said that made me think about it, and just generally what can happen to somebody like him, that like Conor, who gets all this early fame, that gets all this people surrounding him in some sort of way. I mean, how much do you think that affects like a fighter's mentality once you get to that level and have that kind of, I guess, people around you as a champion? And does it just like get to you at one point, you think?
It's dangerous to start drinking that Kool-Aid. I mean, it really is. In all senses of it. In the fight sense, you know, like I said, I don't think that I think the man truly knows he's not the real champ. And he doesn't stack up well against us big three. You know, you got Khabib, you got Tony, you got me. He's going to lose to all three of us. So there's that frustration. But then the man's not, he's not a real gangster. Like, yeah, he might have grew up poor, but they like working class. You know, they ain't really street people. He want to be from the streets so bad that it's dangerous. It's dangerous to play around with that. And I mean, it can be shown. I mean, I know it just because I've seen it, and I know people that are real in it, and you play around with them folks. You know, you can't do that too long. They don't give a fuck about your money. I know a lot of dudes that don't either. So we'll see how the whole thing shakes out. I wish him nothing but the best. I hope nothing bad on the man. I wish him the best. I wish he can turn it around, and I'm looking to make some money with him. It's some fights to be made.
Now, since your last fight with Tony, what have you been doing between now and then?
Getting better physically, mentally. I think a lot of what it is was the stress and not understanding how my body works too. And those are like the two biggest things that I've been focusing on. And that's going to show during the fight. You know, it was so much mentally, it was so much with the weight cut that it started to come out physically in sickness and, you know, going into it with staff. It's just, it was a lot that was going into the fight that I'm taking away from it now. And everything's a good time. So I feel like everything happened for a reason, and this is one of them.
Is it tough to go so long, you know, from a loss and then having that cloud over your head?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot that's been going on since that fight too. You know, losing my head trainer, you know, trying to come back and switch so many things up and wondering if I'm doing stuff right and all this. But we're gonna see during the fight. That's the beauty about this sport, is once you get in there and all that talk is gone, the real shit come out. So I'm looking forward to that part.
Because it must feel good, you know, coming off a loss and then you're coming back headlining a show.
That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. You know, and I'm right back into the mix of things. Right back in that title picture, and I'm right back in the title fight within the next year. So that's what I wanted right out the gate. We gonna make it happen.
Besides, you know, not feeling good going into your last fight, was there anything that you learned about yourself from that fight?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to learn about myself mentally, especially. You know, hands down, I'm the best athlete, and I think in this division, I think you got the two best athletes that are going up against each other. You got me and Edson, and I think that's what makes this matchup so great, because you're gonna see the guy who's gonna win is the guy who wants it more, is the guy who can overcome mentally the other guy. So we're hands down the two best athletes, and the guy who is more complete is gonna win, and that's what I'm gonna show.